to make the same amount completely on my own in the first year is like you made the right decision to leave the corporate world and do your own thing.
You're watching Style as Identity. Meet the brands building from their vision, values, and vibes. Huge. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay, so you made this brand. How do we pronounce it?
Maçon.
Maçon.
It's a French word. The word maçon means mason or bricklayer, stonemason. And this really spoke to us because it kind of speaks to like the idea of building your world by hand, which is for us, like that's what our brand is. It's not just about the pieces or the jewelry or display or pack, like all of it together is like we are expanding a whole universe and we are just beginning. Like it's feeling pretty fleshed out now a year in, but to us, we're like, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very evocative name. Okay, so taking a step back for a second, how do you describe the brand, what you sell, and what your vibe is?
Yeah, we make, for the moment, we want to expand, always world building. But for the
Yes.
moment, we make mostly silver jewelry and little bronze animals, which the bronze animals I thought would just be like a passion project that would be like some people are going to buy this, but like the main focus is going to be the jewelry. And the animals actually took off like in a beautiful, unexpected way. So we sell both.
When you launched with silver jewelry and a few of these animals.
Yeah.
And was it originally thinking, okay, the jewelry is a little bit higher priced, these little animals will be a way into the brand and then hopefully upsell them? Was that thinking, or am I overthinking?
Yeah, I thought they would be like almost just different audiences in a way, but to me, I was like, this might not make sense to people at first, but they'll understand later on when we expand our world. But then like people were coming to us and buying both in the same order. They're buying a piece of jewelry and a bronze animal in the same order. So to me, that shows that like our intention behind it, which is really just about like, I think of it as like emotional functionality. Like when I wear jewelry that is like a family heirloom or these artifacts from my childhood, like they really can like change my mood for the day. Like I feel a little more like grounded and like seen by these inanimate objects, but it changes my experience of the day. So I think and that's like definitely what we intend when we put into the jewelry and the animals. So I think that people who are buying them like see that, and it almost doesn't matter what the object is as long as whether they're going to wear it or they're just going to like have it on their desk or carry it with them, and it just speaks to them in that same way. So I think that's like the core feeling through all of it.
I'm just thinking about this term of emotional functionality. I haven't heard those two words used before like that.
Yeah, just, there's always this like ongoing, or maybe just because I went to art school, this ongoing debate of like form over function, or like is function more important? And from the time I was at RISD, I was like, why like emotional functionality is really important. That's a thing. That's like why people like go to therapy or have like a candle that makes them, I don't know, like it really, if your mood is influenced, like it changes your experience day to day and it influences your decisions in the world. And like, I don't think that should be ignored or like lessened just because people can't see the physical functionality of something.
Yeah. Ugh, okay, preach. We don't talk about that enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna sit on that for a minute. But it's like it's everywhere. Wait, Alex. So your partners, how has your relationship in life influenced how you collaborate as co-founders?
We actually just had we had our 2-year wedding anniversary, been together 10 years, but we've known each other for half our lives. We're crossing into like more of our lives together than not.
Yeah.
But overall that time we've gotten very good at communicating. So it's really just like all the same thing between our business and our personal relationships. We've gotten so honed in like if one of us is feeling a little defensive or frustrated with something the other person did, we really can't make it more than a couple hours before we resolve it because we know each other's sensitivities and needs like so well. And he's really strong two-dimensionally. He was a graphic designer. I've always done three-dimensional stuff. So we both know when to defer to the other person. But then there's a cool thing where, because I'm not a graphic designer, I'll work on stuff like our logo and stuff with him, and I'll think of stuff that he never would have considered because I haven't been in that professional world, and vice versa. Like, he'll draw me stuff and be like, how can we make this 3D? And I'll be like, you kind of drew it 3D and I wouldn't have thought of doing it that way, but like, let me try to do it. And that's a really cool way that we influence each other.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Do you have a clear split on who does what and versus what's a collaboration? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so we design everything together. Like, we decide how things are going to look together. Sometimes an idea will be like more mine, and he'll be like, oh, I love that, let's just make it, and vice versa. But after that, like, I'm doing all of the three-dimensional making. So I make all of our pieces. I carve everything from scratch. The only thing we outsource is I work with a caster in downtown LA. Shout out to Coco. He's amazing.
Coco.
And then he's incredible. And Alex does all of the two-dimensional stuff. So like the website, photography, any branding, a lot of the world building outside of the actual pieces.
Okay, I love that you called it world building because I think especially for fashion brands, jewelry brands, creative products, just like calling it world building is like how you communicate the thing that you made and help it give it a place in the world, and help people see what that is. And it's just like a whole job. And the fact that you both get to have support from each other in those lanes, I think it comes out in the product, because I do feel like when you release something, it is cohesive, both in how it's packaged and presented. And yeah, totally.
Thank you. Yeah, we have so much fun doing it. It's just like so satisfying to see it all come together. And we're like always evolving. Like, we'll put out one thing and the next week we'll be like, oh, but let's change this. But like, it's our company and we can do it. And I always think of something that Alex's mom said, that because I used to be like, get into like rules about branding. And she told me once, when she was younger, she made a bunch of business cards to go to an event, and every single business card was different. Like, she just made them by hand. None of them matched, but she was like, it doesn't matter. Like, they were all me. And I always think of that when I want to make changes to stuff. I'm like, we don't have to make our own rules and then just like stick to, like, we can do what we want. It's all going to be in our universe because it's us making it.
Yeah. Yeah. I did that once for a brand, like my little brand, when I was younger. And but I never thought about it as like, oh, but it's all me. I was just like, I need these business cards, and so I might as well just make them. But it's way more romantic to think about how she described it, as, you know,
I love
like
that. Do you still have any? I love like finding those artifacts of our
I'm
younger selves.
sure. Yeah. I used like I like collaged them to make
Amazing.
them. Yeah, it was just, I don't know. It was, you know, using your hands. But so also shout out to Alex's mom, because she said something once that I like heard through Alex, and it was begin as you mean to go on. And
Yes, we say
it's
that all
so
the time.
simple, but for some reason it stuck, and I've said it to myself so many times since I first heard it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Okay, you're a year into running this business. What did you expect from this first year to look like, and how has that reality been different? And also, all the listeners out there that want to start a brand, this is like a really juicy part of expectations versus reality and level setting. And so, yeah, tell us everything.
Totally. Yeah, I think I expected to be reaching out and connecting a lot more with stores. I worked with you on some of this. We like whole like reaching out pack. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think I was like really stubborn. I was like, I do not want to put money into ads. I don't want to give my money to Meta. And at some point I kind of realized that doing ads was almost a more direct way for us to connect with people, because it was just putting our creative vision in front of them, and they can choose to click and explore it more if they want to. And so I when we started doing that and it was a lucrative path for us,
Mm-hmm.
like we make more putting money into ads. I was doing the math last night. I looked back at all our history of ads, and like on average, we were making 3 to 5 times what we put into any given ad.
Mm-hmm.
So we make a lot more, which we need to sustain the business by doing it that way. And that was one big unexpected thing.
Yeah. At what point did you shift to saying, like, let's give ads a try? Were you not getting traction with retailers, or were you getting tired of the process? At what point were you like, let's give this other thing a go that I originally was adverse to?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of like reaching out and just like never hearing back. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, in the meantime, while I was like waiting to hear back from people, we were trying a few ads here and there.
Yeah.
And when we saw that that was not the like horror that I thought it was, of just like paying for ingenuine connection, and it was actually like really genuine,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I and we started really like getting into it. Like, oh, this
Yeah.
worked. Like, what can we do? How can we improve on that? And why did this photograph work over this one? And why did this copy work? We really started getting into it, and it started getting kind of like thrilling to see what was working and
Mm-hmm.
what wasn't.
And you also did some pop-ups though. You did some like little activations to
Yeah,
kind of the like an activation or pop-up usually is like a pipeline to then be in a retail store or test out what that looks
yeah,
like. And on one hand, retail, you're really at the whim of the person on the other end. You can take power into your own hands by like maybe doing a pop-up or like creating something. But to your point, it's called D2C, like your website sales, direct to consumer for a reason because they come directly to you and ads are a way to have direct conversation with them. And it is amazing that ads work for you 3x on average, but that is not the case for everybody. And so you have a special inputs that I think give you an output of an ad that is successful. And I want to talk a little bit. Okay, so before you launched, you did interviews of prospective customers to try to understand who you'd be, who your client base would be. And then now that you have purchasers, you are talking to them. What ahas did, like, what insights have you turned into action from those conversations?
yeah. I think the biggest one was we had a lot of people who bought it. I would ask them like, what made you want to go ahead and get it? And a lot of them mentioned that the quality looked really like locked in and there. And so then I would follow that up with like, did that deliver when you got it? And almost all of them, like unprompted, would talk about the weight of it, and how that it seemed like almost a bonus because like they couldn't really tell that from a photo. But once they got it, it was kind of like the final, like, oh yes, this is a good quality object, because of that good weight in the hand. And so we took that and started using it in our ad creative.
Mm.
And we did like some further photos, more with pieces being held in the hand, like cupping feeling, to like you could see the shadow of it a little more and like really feel the weight. And so then we tried putting those out there, and it totally worked. Like those ones almost always delivered. And we've been able to rely on them over and over again to attract new people.
Wow. Did you see sales increase from that?
Yeah, for sure. It was the
Wow.
combination of specifically the little pig totem in the hand to the Studio Ghibli audience. Like something about that was the sweet spot, and it just delivers every time.
Okay. So wait, Studio Ghibli? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, we were looking for new audiences to test our ads. And so we asked ChatGPT, like, here's our brand, here's what we're into, just like as humans separate in our life. What do you suggest? And one of the things that came up was Studio Ghibli. And we were like, oh my God, that's so interesting. Like both of us grew up watching the Miyazaki films. And it just seemed like it might be a good fit. Like we had a hunch. So even though it was like otherwise kind of unrelated, because it's animation, it's film, But I think in the end, it's all part of like the world building.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like kind of essentially small animal totems in that and in Japanese culture. And so we tried it and it really
Yes.
worked.
That's so fascinating. And then back to your interview questions, the takeaway for me there, for everyone taking notes is you asked the right questions, right? The first was like, what made you purchase? And then did it deliver on that purchase? And so you're kind of like not taking the answer at face value that did it deliver on that? Like how do you, I like to frame those questions, no matter how they're worded, is like, did your expectations match reality? And that is such a powerful question to ask. But by you going that second layer deeper in that question set, you were able to not only check the box of, oh, great, these ads are delivering on quality, and that is the thing that made them purchase, right? That's important. But you could have just been like, great, we want to make sure we're always doing quality. But you got to what was unspoken and was like a hope. And then now you're seeing how many people are actually purchasing because it's showcasing the weight of the item, of the totem. And
Yeah, and you said something really interesting that like it's on hope, and because I think when people buy something online, like they're not paying for it and then it's like magically appearing in front of them. So what they're paying for is like a feeling that they're hoping to get
yes,
once the thing arrives. And I just want to make sure that we're delivering that feeling
yeah,
to them. And I think it helps that like I mean, we make something that gives us the feeling. So I can only hope to convey that to other people who are looking for that feeling. Um, but the more that we can talk with people and understand how to convey that, the better we can do that. It's been
yeah,
working so far.
absolutely. Just like it ties so strongly back to the emotional function of the item and thinking about all the ways that you're delivering on it, but that your marketing wasn't showcasing all those ways it's delivering on it. And so
Yeah,
it was an opportunity for you to fulfill rather than almost like something you need to fix, which
absolutely.
is a great place to be in. I mean,
Yeah.
either can be good if you're going to do something with it, I guess. But that was fantastic. And then also, um, like asking, how do we communicate this? I think that was like the right way to be like, oh, let's put it in a hand. Like, let's show this. But I can't tell you. I mean, you've shopped for bags before. Like, show 4 images of the bag, right? Show somebody holding it. Show the
Yeah.
inside, any like little detail that someone might find like helpful to know, and then show like a little animated GIF of like putting stuff in, like what can it carry and what should it be holding, and
It makes
then
such a big difference.
it's crazy. I just bought a bag literally that we were going to bring to Hong Kong. I was like, this is a great size. We can both wear it. It matches both of our style. We can go shopping
Yeah.
and put stuff in it. It looks durable enough to like hold a few things that we buy, but then also like like it's something we'd want to be just taking turns schlepping around. And then it
Yeah.
arrived and it's like over 2 times the size, and I'm like, I guess I'll keep it, like I'll use it, but my use case in my head, you're right, I had like a hope and a
Yeah.
vision for how this would come to life, and now it's like a weekender bag that I could put like 2.5 days of clothes in.
Oh my God.
Like, all right. So I don't know, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's something else I always try to like pay attention when I'm just like perusing, even when I'm not shopping. But I just like try to pay attention to like how brands that I look up to showcase their stuff.
yeah,
Um, and then also like what totally isn't working, like when they don't show it to scale or like aren't clear about what can fit in it. Like
yeah.
it's just
It's
impossible.
honestly mind-boggling because I'm like, why wouldn't this come to someone's head? Like someone at some time in the company should be thinking about the end user, like,
Yeah.
uh,
Especially these companies where there's a whole team that their only job is to
yeah,
like convey
yeah,
what the
get
product.
them to buy, like literally.
Yeah.
But we're in a year, you launched with jewelry. You kind of went immediately into like execution when you answered that question about, paid media
Hmm.
versus retail and then jewelry. But zooming out and thinking, where your headspace was and what was possible. Last year at this time, you're like, will this work? And now
Yeah.
you're like, this is working, and what is next? What's the appropriate next phase for us, or evolution, and figuring that out? So that's kind of the area I would like to hear a little bit more about.
To be honest, we're kind of in a moment of just like, as long as we're trending upward and growing and making progress, like that is great. There is no like true, like in the first year, like we ended up not having specific numbers to meet. We did get rid of our startup debt. I did make the equivalent of my salary when I worked in corporate fashion in the last year. So that felt awesome. I mean, I should have been paid more, but
yeah. Yeah.
To make the same amount completely on my own in the first year is awesome. And that to me is great. You made the right decision to leave the corporate world and do your own thing.
Huge. Congratulations.
Yeah. So our goals have become less of let's make this by next year and more rolling with what's working and expanding on that. Like we're generally trending upward and making more money and spending less to get there so that we can support ourselves.
Yeah. And what do you mean by spending less to get there?
Yeah. Well, we've basically just like in the beginning, we were definitely putting more money into ads and getting our name out there compared to the return. But we actually like haven't even run ads in the last 5 months because we've had so much business that I was like, we need to pause on ads. I think that's come through like word of mouth from the people that we did connect with. So we were getting a lot more orders without having to output or like put any money into getting ourselves in front of people.
Got it. So you deprioritized marketing because product needed to scale. So you have these commercial products that people are purchasing, and then your custom side started to take off. How did that like first start?
Well, we've always done custom jewelry. What I didn't expect is that the bronze animals ended up turning into a whole custom venture. Last thing I expected. Firstly, I expected that they would be like a fun side, like passion project, because they're not cheap. We spend a lot of time making them really good quality. So firstly, those did well, but then people started coming to us and being like, can you make me this animal? Or like, I saw this artifact. So that really took off. And
yeah. And then so for future state, are you thinking of how to scale that custom work and keep that going? Or is it to expand on your commercial?
We kind of have a nice balance. We want to include bags in the universe. That was my intent for this year, but then we got so much custom work that I was busy with that. But I mean, it's fine. We'll just get to that when we get to it. When we don't have the custom work, we're excited to work on our own stuff. And when we do, we're excited to work. Like, it's kind of nice to go back and forth and have that shift.
So a bunch of the brands I talk with, there's this commercial line and custom line, and like, fashion design that's like we have like bridal or like something like that, but it's not so often that there's like both of these offered and they're both successful. And then especially custom can be erratic, right? In the B2B world, we used to say that our sales, we might have like 100 customers, but 80% of our revenue came from 20% of those customers. So if we lost a few of those, then that revenue would be, really decreased and could really jeopardize the company. So, do you relate to that 80-20 rule?
Yeah, that makes sense this year. All of the like orders of 1 or 2 pieces are incredibly meaningful, and I get to like reach out to a lot of those customers, which is cool. But this guy saw our ads. He bought he was like, I got to see if this is as cool as it looks in the picture. And he bought it. And he was like, this is amazing. Well, I reached out to him. I was like, will you chat with us? And he was like, I've actually been meaning to speak with you about a large scale order. He ordered a large order of custom animals to gift to his friends. Like, so he really saw what we were doing and he wanted to share that feeling, and he was willing to invest a lot in us to achieve that. And we actually ended up going to his house and like meeting him in person, and it was all like a really beautiful connection. But anyway, so this was a really big custom order, which I don't know in the future if we can count on that every year.
You're just like such a great case study for how to maintain like this intimacy with a person, right? They're not just customers for you, and you're not delivering them just products. And I think that's a great way for people that are launching a brand or thinking about how to further grow their sales and products. Find that, and then just like fall madly in love with it.
Yeah, people can feel it when that's what you put out.
Yeah, absolutely. So you priced out your commercial pieces, and then you've gotten these requests for custom. What's your approach to pricing and positioning this handcrafted jewelry?
I did a ton of research before we started. Like I looked at a lot of companies that I really admire, Sophie Buhai, Agnes, and then of course I also looked at like what I expected to be putting into each piece time wise, money for the raw materials. I looked at each piece. I wrote down prices that I felt like I would want to see them for, and then I reached out to people that I knew and asked how those prices felt. I also definitely like a lot of artists when they're younger like underprice their stuff, and this is kind of like a moment of overcoming that. I was like, if I
It
want
is
this to be
so
real,
hard to dig out of that. Yeah.
yeah, it really is. So I think for a lot of people, like you just have to get worn down of undercharging and just like charge what you really are worth. And that's a hard leap for most people to make, but I'm glad we did it. And
Yeah, I think especially in creative fields, design, fashion, whatever, the R&D, the time to iterate and innovate and create gets discounted because it's not an hour. It's based on
right.
experience and talent and perspective. And it's hard to quantify that, right? Like, I would not say
Yeah.
it's impossible to quantify that, but going based on
Yeah.
hours and profit margin isn't the answer necessarily.
Something that Alex always said that has helped me make the shift was, what would you get paid for this that you're not going to feel like resentful about doing it for? I used to price stuff too low, and then I would like have a little feeling of resentment about it. Make on this that I'm going to feel good and like I deserve, and then I would kind of use that as like one of the pinpoints to like reference when I was deciding on prices.
What's your vision? What's the legacy you want to leave with your brand?
I mean, I just look at like the brands that I appreciate, and they have like a really deep history of this world building aspect of like, it's not just one type of product. Like right now we have the jewelry and the totems. Next thing is going to be the bags, but really it's like the whole world behind it. We do a lot of stuff by hand ourselves to build out the world. And like, I want that to be the feeling. Like, you're not just getting one piece like what from this world and then moving on with your life. Like you have taken a little piece of this entire universe and now you're involved in it and you're part of the community.
And what
And
is the world that you're building?
Maçon is this kind of feeling of like both futuristic and artifacts. I can think about our pieces being dug up as artifacts in thousands of years, but also like they feel ancient at the same time. We want this kind of feeling of both future and past.
So your world building kind of harkens back to our humanity's past, and also help us kind of open up our brain for what future state is, all tucked into these little material objects that vibrate with the emotion tied to it.
Yes, extremely well summarized. Thank you.
And so what's your hope for that? 10 years down the line, or, when we're all lucky enough to move on to our next venture, when we're all dead, what do you want your brand to have contributed to the world is the real question.
I kind of want people to like not know about us for a while, and then in like 50 years, like someone's grandkid finds our piece and they're like, wait, what was this? And then they like dig into it and they realize there's this whole world behind this piece that is still there for them to explore, even though like we're gone. Like I want it to be found in the corners of the world.
Yes.
And I love the idea of people like finding a piece with this logo on it in the future and then like coming across it somewhere else and being like, oh, this is part of that universe too. Wait, what is this?
Yeah.
And like just getting that urge to delve deeper.
Your approach to marketing by interviewing customers, by asking them what it means to them, you are really inviting these people to be part of what brings it to life.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. Art should connect people. Yeah.
Okay, so Majority Group, Style as Identity, we are all about talking with people like you that are building something, articulating your vision, your vibe, and aligning with your values. And I think it's like near impossible to do all three all of the time. But the fact that there's people like you that are doing it is so inspiring and so wonderful. And so,
yeah, you guys can head over to studiomaçon.co. It's studio, MACON.co.
Going there right
now. Hey everybody, Lola here. Thanks for listening. Style as Identity is part of the Majority Group, which is focused on spotlighting and supporting the brands that make us feel seen. In addition to this podcast, we offer business and strategy advice to brands, have an investment arm, and more. Basically, we want to see you win and do what we can to make it happen. For more info on us, head to themajoritygroup.com. Love ya!